Hello everyone, welcome to the weekly update video for the Monday 4th of July, and we'll get started. There's a little bit more to cover than usual, but shouldn't take us too long. So the first thing we'll talk about as usual is week 6 of the TFM PMDG 737 rebuild project, and as always you can read their blog post or watch their video if you want a detailed analysis. That's not really what this is for. This is more of a summary, and of course they are now preparing preview builds which you can download from their website if you want to have a look at these things. I don't believe the next preview build is out yet. It should be at some point during the next week. So several panels have been added this week, one of them being the electrical panel, which has things such as the ground power switch, the DC and AC power switches, the generators. A lot of this stuff we do already have access to in some form. However, it's been sort of altered in terms of the layout and the way you will adjust switches and things with the arrow keys to adjust their positions. We also now have the APU panel, and we also now have the wipers panel, which the wipers panel is pretty straightforward. You have left and right wipers, and then you can adjust the speeds. Which is interesting, of course, because first officer can do that, so it's pretty cool that we'll be able to do that and adjust them ourselves for weather. There's a new hotkey, Control Shift X, to restart TFM, so that's nice. You'll be able to do that outside of the TFM context menu that you would normally go to. Another update is there has been sort of a discovery with regard to the trim. So a lot of pilots have had issues where they would set the trim to what it was in the FMC, especially in the 737, and the plane would shoot up like crazy, and you wouldn't really be able to control the pitch or attitude on takeoff, which would cause problems with the speed. It turns out that TFM wasn't reading the trim value correctly, and so it was way more than we thought it was. So if you would set the trim, say, anywhere between 2 and 5 units, it would actually be way more than that. So when the new preview build comes out and that is corrected, you should be able to use trim a lot more effectively. That's really it for TFM. As I say, you can read their blog and watch the video. I recently got the Honeycomb Bravo. I did want to just mention this as well, and I've been using the Honeycomb configurator to set things up in combination with some help from people who've already done this, including Rob. So thanks to him for doing a lot of the groundwork on this to get info on how this all works. And the Honeycomb Bravo is a throttle quadrant in which you get the 4 thrust levers, a speed brake lever, flaps, toggles, and autopilot panel all in one. So it's pretty good, and you do have to configure it for the PMDG aircraft within a configurator. The configurator itself is pretty accessible. It's kind of like an Electron app, so a lot of clickables and things. Yeah, pretty exciting. There's of course the Honeycomb yoke as well, which I don't yet have, and I'm not sure if I'm going to get that, to be honest, just for space. But the throttle quadrant is certainly interesting. So if you want to be able to have a more fine adjustment of certain things, and of course the thrust levers as well, to make things a bit more realistic, including they do have the reverser detent, so that's always nice to actually be able to manually activate reverse with the throttles. It's not usually something you can do with the general throttles on joysticks. Then this may be something to consider. The BVI event on Saturday was fun. Of course, we went, as I said before, from Mallorca to Lisbon to Canaria, and we're going to have another one in 2 weeks on the Sunday, and there's a form in the BVI virtual WhatsApp group if you want to fill that in. It's going to be a long haul event, a bit of an impromptu thing, so who knows how many people will be able to attend, but it's I did say that we're going to have more events during the summer rather than spread them out by months at a time. Whilst people have more time off, we may as well make use of it. So that's always good, and great to see the new people getting involved and going on BATSIM and whatever, and joining us on these events. The other thing to mention is that it's been mentioned that someone had tried FS Hood within the BVI community, the ATC program that I've previously spoken about, And although I don't have any great detail, we're led to believe that it's relatively accessible and does a relatively good job of actually controlling the traffic, which is not really something that other add-ons do, because the traffic generally is injected into the sim and they just communicate with it without actually controlling it. Of course, every ATC program has its problems. PF3, as we know, doesn't have Navigraph integration, although it has great voice sets. Pro ATC has Navigraph integration and is generally a really good all-round product, although the voices could do with some work. And FS Hood seems to be a similar thing. It has Navigraph, the voices could do with some work, and obviously I'm yet to try it. Don't think I'm going to purchase it myself right now because I don't really see a need for it. I'm perfectly happy with Pro ATC and PF3, but it's possibly something for the future, depending on, you know, if they continue to make improvements. We'll have to see how it goes. Yeah, so that's really it for this week. Bit of a whistle-stop tour, but these videos are supposed to be a summary. If you didn't see the video I uploaded today, it was a really good freeware flight that I'd done in the A320 using Pro ATC actually, and a combination with the VATSIM into Washington Dulles. So check that out if you haven't, if you want to enjoy a full flight video. And other than that, we will see you in next week's weekly update, if not in a stream before or something like that.